His former chief of staff, General Kelly, reminded us that Trump admires Hitler and ridicules our American troops who died for us. He mumbles, he stumbles, and blubbers on, exhibiting clear signs of dementia. He promoted the Project 2025 agenda. That's all in 1 week. All in 1 week. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris has plans, real plans, not concepts of plans.
Test ABC out on this. Let's see how we do. Last time I went after them, they gave me $16 million. This one sounds even more lucrative. A true bunch of losers. Only Donald Trump would try to prove he wasn't threatening ABC by threatening ABC. And you almost have to feel sorry for the people who work for him.
Donald Trump is losing it on Sunday morning as his regime is collapsing under its own cover-ups. Their attempt to defame Alex Pretty after he was brutally murdered by Border Patrol goons has backfired in the regime's face. Donald Trump has been ranting and raving like a lunatic on social media, mostly whining about his golden ballroom right now, but he sent his sycophants to do all of the morning shows on Sunday, and I don't think I've ever seen any politician show such hatred for the Second Amendment, the First Amendment, and the Fourth Amendment as these Trump political sycophants in the House and the Senate and in Trump's cabinet. But particularly in this video, I want you to focus on their hatred for the Second Amendment.
When Robert De Niro walked onto Jimmy Kimmel Live on September 23, 2025, wearing a dark suit and speaking in his iconic mob voice, it wasn't just a joke. He was playing FCC chairman Brendan Carr like a real-life mafia boss. But this wasn't simple comedy. It was exposure. After Trump's FCC had threatened ABC affiliates to get Kimmel suspended, Kimmel and De Niro turned a hidden truth into a public message. They showed America exactly what was happening.
We have both been immortalized on social media by our former president, Donald Trump. Yeah. We have, I think this might have been the first time he wrote about you. Robert De Niro, a very low IQ individual, has received he spelled two wrong, many shots to the head by real boxers in movies. I watched him last night, truly believe he may be punch drunk, and then he says, at the end, he says, "Wake up, punchy," he says to you. And that's not the only time, and he moved over to Truth Social. Robert De Niro, whose acting talents have greatly diminished with his reputation now shot, must even use a teleprompter for his foul and disgusting language. So disrespectful to our country. Now, in all fairness to the former president, is that true? Do you have to use a teleprompter when speaking about President Trump? Or are you able to just kind of riff on your thoughts on him?
Yeah, he's so stupid.
And just how hypocritical they have been all of these years when now confronted with the regime's collapse, it turns out they actually hate the Second Amendment in terms of how the Second Amendment is supposed to be used. I want to start by just showing these photos of Alex Pretty, and I want to say his name, and I want to say the name Renee Nicole Good, and I want to send my heartfelt sympathies to their families, to everyone in Minnesota, to everyone in this country, and to everyone, frankly, in the world who is suffering as a result of this despicable regime. I wake up every morning here at the Midas Touch Network just trying to do my part, however I can, to fight back and to try to be your voice, and I'll continue to try to do that to the best of my ability. So as I mentioned, Donald Trump is absolutely losing it this morning. Just take a look visually at what his post looked like without even getting into the content.
The president was acting like a mob boss, using government agencies to threaten anyone who dared criticize him, and Kimmel exposed it with the greatest mob actor of all time. This is the story of how Jimmy Kimmel and Robert De Niro shattered Trump's authoritarian playbook on live television. Before we break down this historic moment, make sure you're subscribed, because this channel documents how artists fight power with truth and humor.
Retribution on your part.
No, it's the opposite. I think I've been very mild-mannered. You're looking at a man who was indicted many times, and I had to beat the rap. Otherwise, I couldn't have run for president. They tried to get me not to run for president by going after me and by indicting me. But even during my term, on a perfect phone call, I got impeached.
Bigly, at least 50 Republicans are expected to break ranks, which has forced Trump to now claim he's for the files being released. After almost a year of saying he didn't want to release, after a year of stalling, hedging, browbeating members of his own party last night, all of a sudden Trump reversed course completely. He wrote, as I said on Friday night to the fake news media, House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files because we have nothing to hide. We have nothing to hide. I have some bad news. There's no we. It's just you, bro.
And you may be saying, is Donald Trump addressing the murder of Alex Preddy? Is Donald Trump addressing the fact that Americans can't afford homes right now? They can't pay their rent. They can't afford groceries. Their health care is being ripped away. What is Donald Trump ranting and raving about on a Sunday with this massive paragraph, capital words, lowercase words? It all looks like one big mess. Let's zoom in, and here's what he's saying. I'm building, on top of everything else that I'm doing, one of the greatest and most beautiful ballrooms. Then Donald Trump says this is a gift, and taxpayers aren't paying for it at all, but Trump's rich billionaire friends are paying for it. And he says this is the most important thing, that it should be on all of our minds.
To understand why this sketch hit so hard, you need the full context. On September 17, 2025, ABC suspended Jimmy Kimmel Live after Kimmel criticized Trump and MAGA figures for exploiting the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Within 48 hours, FCC Chairman Brendan Carr appeared on a conservative podcast and openly threatened to revoke ABC affiliate licenses.
It ain't free no more.
What? It's not free no more?
Yeah, we're charging by the word now.
You're charging by the word? How much are you charging?
It depends on what you want to say. Like, you want to say something nice about the president's beautiful thick yellow hair, or how he can do his makeup better than any broad. That's free.
Okay. All right. That seems reasonable.
But if you want to do a joke like he's so fat he needs 2 seats on the Epstein jet, that's going to cost.
Can I just ask, just for clarity, because it's a pretty good joke, how much would that one cost me? Now, yesterday, the president announced he'd be giving an impromptu liar-side chat tonight in the middle of the season finales of Survivor and The Floor. He interrupted it. It's weird to think that you had a couple of states just gone the other way, he'd be hosting one of those shows. Trump shouldn't be preempting The Floor. He should be mopping it, okay? Trump...
Because for great state events, dinners, conferences, and future inaugurations, he says, this will be utilized and we should all be very happy for it. And then Donald Trump says, do I get praised for this? He goes, no. As usual, I got sued, this time by the radical left National No Trust for Historic Preservation. So he claims that the National Trust for Historic Preservation is a leftist group, and he calls it the No Trust.
Major broadcast groups like Nexstar and Sinclair immediately pulled Kimmel's show. Trump celebrated on Truth Social, calling it great news for America. This wasn't just corporate pressure. This was government censorship, an FCC chair threatening licenses to silence a comedian. That's not democracy. That's authoritarian behavior. After 6 days of backlash, protests, and celebrity support, ABC brought Kimmel back. But even then, 20% of affiliates still refused to air his show.
Where the odds that Donald Trump will finish his term as president have dipped in light of a Republican revolt over the president's BF Jeffrey Epstein. Did you hear about this? The House could vote as soon as tomorrow on whether to release the Epstein files, and that vote is likely to pass bigly. At least 50 Republicans are expected to break ranks, which has forced Trump to now claim he's for the files being released after almost a year of saying
He's a punk, he's a dog, he's a pig, He's a con, a bullshit artist, a mutt who doesn't know what he's talking about, doesn't do his homework, doesn't care, thinks he's gaming society, doesn't pay his taxes. He's an idiot. Colin Powell said it best. He's a national disaster. He's an embarrassment to this country. It makes me so angry that this country has gotten to this point, that this fool, this bozo, has wound up where he has. He talks how he wants to punch people in the face. Well,
and then Donald Trump says this is a group that couldn't care less about our country. He goes on to say that he's already picked out the marble, the stone, precast concrete, bulletproof windows, and glass. He says it is ready to go, but he says because the historic preservation group has filed a lawsuit to now block the construction of the new ballroom, which, by the way, a federal judge by the name of Judge Leon seems to think that the construction should be blocked, that it violated a lot of the law that we've been talking about here on the Midas Touch Network.
Nexstar and Sinclair kept him blacked out. And just 1 hour before Kimmel's return, Trump posted another message on Truth Social, saying the White House had been told the show was canceled. He practically admitted it. The suspension was coordinated. This was the reality Kimmel faced when he walked back on stage on September 23, 2025, delivering one of the most defiant opening monologues of his career.
I am totally dumbfounded, baffled by that. I can't understand it. And it's a thing that we've seen over decades and decades. And he's a what's it, Tammy Faye and the other one?
Yes.
It's the same thing, give us your money, we're gonna save you. Yeah, televangelist. It's just the same thing, and it's so obvious. I just don't understand. People can buy it. I just don't know. It's all an act in a certain way. It's all out of insecurity. He's deeply, deeply insecure. He is a malignant narcissist. He's a socio-psychopath. He's created some new language as far as describing somebody in his mental condition.
Donald Trump says it's too late to sue us. It's too late. Why didn't these obstructionists and troublemakers bring their lawsuit much earlier? Donald Trump says that Congress never tried or wanted to stop the ballroom project. Just pause there. The fact that your sycophants like MAGA Mike Johnson and others in Congress did not stop it, you think that's permission? Or perhaps it's actually the Article 1 role to pass laws about these things versus you just bringing cranes and bulldozers and tearing to shreds the East Wing of the White House and ignoring things like, asbestos mitigation?
Kimmel's return monologue lasted over 20 minutes. It was emotional, honest, and powerful. He told viewers that the show itself wasn't important. What mattered, with living in a country where shows like this are even allowed to exist. He spoke about comedians in other countries who were jailed or worse for mocking leaders, and he admitted he had taken that freedom for granted.
Trump won't even meet to figure out how to get things back on track.
Are you going to meet with Democratic leadership?
I'm always going to meet. All they have to do is open up the country. Let them open up the country, and we'll meet. We'll meet very quickly. But they have to open up the country.
Because the arts are democratic. Art is inclusive. It brings people together. Like tonight, art looks for truth. Art embraces diversity. And that's why art is a threat. That's why we are a threat.
I think we're going to find out that there are a lot of people who got mesothelioma as a result of what took place. And so bring this video back when we learn more about that. Then Donald Trump says the former tiny East Wing was so bastardized. He says, additionally, this is being done with the design, consent, and approval at the highest levels of the military and Secret Service. So no taxpayers are going to pay for it, but the military and Secret Service are doing this at the highest top secret level, he says. It's a top secret fact. Stoppage of construction. This is too late. Also, as I pointed out many months ago, they are redoing the bunker under the East Wing. And I said that's a major part of this, that Trump, like Hitler and like lots of other authoritarians, are terrified of their regime's collapse.
He then referenced Stephen Colbert, whose show had been canceled months earlier under suspicious circumstances. Kimmel's voice cracked as he defended his comments on Charlie Kirk, saying he never mocked the murder, only the way it was politically exploited. Then he turned directly toward FCC chairman Brendan Carr, accusing him of celebrating Americans losing their jobs just because the president couldn't take a joke.
I just don't know. It's all an act in a certain way. It's all out of insecurity. He's deeply, deeply insecure. He is a malignant narcissist. He's a socio-psychopath. He's created some new language as far as describing somebody in his mental condition. It's so frightening and scary, and he's dangerous. We got to get rid of him.
Do you ever?
And I said a lot of this was about the secret bunker, and Donald Trump seems to admit it there, and that taxpayers are paying for it. So that's what Trump is focused on. Now let's take a look at his sycophants in his cabinet, in the House, and in the Senate. And as I mentioned, their assault on the Second Amendment is so pronounced right here in their attempt to cover up the murder of Alex Pretty, who had a lawful permit to conceal carry. He was following the law to a T of what the Second Amendment actually says, not what the MAGAs want it to say, where they're like, well, you could bring semi-automatic weapons and ARs by schools.
Kimmel showed an old clip of Carr from 2022, where Carr praised political satire as essential for democracy. Then Kimmel set up the moment. He announced that the FCC chairman had agreed to join the show live. The audience waited. The screen switched to what looked like Carr's office in Washington, but it wasn't Brendan Carr. It was Robert De Niro.
And shame on those Republicans that don't have the nerve, the balls to go after him. What do they tell their kids? What do they tell their grandkids later when it's written in history books what their role is and what they did, and they allowed him to do this. He's an outright criminal, and they're still buying it.
No, that's not what the Second Amendment for, but the right to conceal carry is precisely what it's for in a situation the way Pretty did, and Pretty didn't brandish the gun. Watch what happens as Scott Bessent, Donald Trump's Treasury Secretary, is confronted about this on one of the morning shows. Take a look at what Bessent has to say. Let's play it.
I am sorry that this gentleman is dead, but he did bring a 9mm semi-automatic weapon with 2 cartridges to what was supposed to be a peaceful protest. I think that there are a lot of paid agitators who are ginning things up, and the governor has not done a good job at tamping this down.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, he was an ICU nurse, worked for the Veterans Administration, and there's no evidence that he brandished the gun whatsoever.
This wasn't just a gag. It was a lesson in how authoritarianism works. Trump uses government agencies as weapons. He punishes critics. He speaks in the language of threats and consequences. And Kimmel and De Niro exposed it by turning the subtext into text. De Niro played Carr exactly as Trump sees him, a mob enforcer protecting the boss.
That's the key. Intimidation. People cannot be intimidated by him. They have to stop and think. That's why it's so important. The Washington Post, he should have said, let me just wait a minute. People look up to him. I look up to him, that he's going to make the right decision, especially in his position.
Jeff Bezos.
Yes. Everybody's taking a chance by doing this stuff, but you have to. You're going to live under this guy's being the president?
And we've seen what's happened when he actually has the office.
It's craziness, insanity.
The president had limited time. His speech was interrupting the season finale of Survivor, so he went a mile a minute. He was shouting, he was racing through the script. It was 18 straight minutes of him yelling. It's like the whole country got to experience what it was like to be Eric in the 8th grade. But while his delivery was erratic, his message was insane.
1 year ago, our country was dead. We were absolutely dead. Our country was ready to fail. Totally failed. Now, we're the hottest country anywhere in the world.
As Christie said, you cannot bring a firearm loaded with multiple magazines to any sort of protest that you want. It's that simple. You don't have that right to break the law and incite violence. We will, of course, always protect your First Amendment speech. And if you peacefully protest, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But you have seen a trend here, not just in Minnesota, but across the country, in these protests turning into violent scenarios and people attacking law enforcement. That's when you go over the line, and that's when law enforcement steps in.
One line said it all. Speech ain't free no more. We're charging by the word now. Trump wants free speech to come with a price. He wants criticism to cost people their careers. But Kimmel and De Niro proved that ridicule is stronger than fear. Trump failed to silence him. Instead, De Niro made him look exactly like what he is, a mob boss pretending to be president, in front of over 26 million viewers.